I didn't mean to do that. Are we rolling?
We are rolling.
We're rolling. I just got a little gas. The sausage, any spiced processed meat is not going to agree with my belly, my insides, my guts. But if I ate like I'm supposed to eat, I wouldn't have acid reflux issues at all. I don't think.
I don't know. I don't think some people can help it. Sometimes it's just inevitable. You gonna burn no matter what you eat.
Oh well.
But so aside from JP's morning gas, we are the podcasting dead, and we're here to talk about The Walking Dead. It's issue 185, correct?
185, On Guard.
On Guard. I don't have it set in front of me, but JP does.
I'm holding it in my hand.
JP
Gosh, what a great issue. I loved it from cover to cover, start to finish. Although I didn't read the little preview mag at the end. I will cop to that. I didn't read Outpost either.
Oh, yeah, Outpost. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read that either, but I was just concerned with The Walking Dead. And what a sweet variant, too. Cover B for this, the Jesus.
Yes.
I've said it before, man, but those are my favorite variants that I own. And I've got some really cool ones, but those are just amazing. Like, I have to go back. I have to get Rick. I have to get Michonne, the governor, and Andrea. And then I've got everything from that point on. Because I remember when the first ones came out, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But I just saw the governor, you know what I mean? And then I didn't get a chance to get it. And then I finally ended up getting one. And I'm like, oh, this is an ongoing thing. I thought it was just like a one-time.
Yeah, what are they going to do, like 12?
I think they're doing them all year, yeah.
Are they just doing them year-round? Wow.
Yeah, I believe. That's what I think, to celebrate their 15th year. But I love them. I've got anyways, I've got a lot. The only ones I'm missing are those, Rick, Andrea, Michonne, and the governor.
So if any listeners want to show you some love, send you, well, I don't know how they get your address, but
they can email me.
Email you.
And podcastingdeadpodcast@gmail.com, and I will buy one off of you. You could, I'll trade you, whatever. I just want to complete that collection. I want to put them up on the wall, like all of them. You know what I mean? It would just be a sick little collection.
It'd be pretty sweet.
Well, let's talk about issue 185 because we've got another podcast to do, our Mail Call podcast, which we won't discuss too much here. We'll get to the comic, but if you are a loyal listener, you know what that is. That'll be coming out right around the same time as this. So, JP, start us off, man. How do we start this issue out?
Oh, man, Dwight and Rick are having a tense little sit-down, that's for sure. Dwight wants revolution. He wants insurrection. He wants to do what he helped us do at the sanctuary. He is like a radical dude. He's like Jesus, but no peace and love. Just, let's liberate people through violence and dissent. And I mean, sometimes that's called for, but Rick's right. He's like, brother, things aren't black and white like they used to be.
Well, he's like, what you're doing is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of innocent lives.
What you're doing is dangerous.
A lot of innocent lives.
Yeah, and obviously, war is. We knew that this wasn't good enough to. It was too good to be true. We knew that was the thing with the Commonwealth, and but Dwight and Rick having a very intense. And I think the thing is with Dwight. And this is just my interpretation of his character. I feel like Dwight hasn't really felt like he had a purpose after All Out War. Like after the All Out War, kind of ended, I feel like Dwight's just kind of been there. He hasn't been happy leading the Saviors. I don't really feel like he's had a purpose. So I think half of the reason why he's so riled up for this is he feels like he's got a purpose now. He's like, I'm going to liberate these people. Right. They're being taken advantage of.
You know what he reminds me of? You watched First Blood, right? The original Rambo movie?
Oh, yeah.
He's like that's what he is. He's a soldier without a war, I mean, Rambo was just walking around minding his own business, and next thing comes a big old mean sheriff, and that's what's going on with Dwight now, He's trying to just live a life of peace, but now he's found his war, and he, deep down, that's what he's programmed for, I guess. He's not programmed for peace. He's not programmed, he's programmed to get stuff done.
Right, fight for the good guys.
In a violent sort of way. But he's
Thank goodness he's fighting for the good guys.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's not a villain. He's still a good guy, but I don't think he has any other means of conflict resolution other than,
let's fight it out.
Yeah, let's get the people on our side. And man, I love, can you see from just that look that Rick gives them, and he's just, get the fuck out of my room. And man, Dwight, he stares at him for a minute, but he gets up and he walks
Dwight's
out.
like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Rick Grimes, man.
If Rick really wanted to be nasty, he'd be like, the The last time I was alone in a room with somebody was Sherry, and
and that didn't pan out too well for her.
Although that was accidental, but nonetheless.
That's just because Rick's such a badass. Even when he's not trying to kill someone, his badass instincts just still get people killed when they threaten his life.
And talking about bad mama jammas, brother Carl, he's badass junior. Man, he's back at the Hilltop holding it down.
Well, he's pimping. He's pimping, ain't he? I mean, he's got Lydia that he's getting with, and he's got Sophia, who's obviously dropping hints to him, like, "Hey, I'm trying to get with you." And I mean, you got to think though, he's the man. I mean, he's Rick Grimes' son.
Oh, it's great, man.
And he and Sophia have such a history too. You know, I mean, they grew up in the apocalypse together. I still think. Carl and Sophia, it's going to happen. That's who he's going to end up with. I don't know what's going to happen with Lydia, but something's going to happen. Carl and Sophia, it's going to happen.
This is the storyline I'm really invested in, man. On one hand, he's got his freaky girl, licking his eye socket, doing all this wild stuff. On the other hand, he's got the girl next door, sweet, untainted, unspoiled. I mean, on one hand, you've got that wild, raging tornado, and on the other hand, you've got the uncharted landscape.
Right?
What do you pick? What do you?
I mean, you just both.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's the new world.
I'm not encouraging you cheat on your spouse. I'm just saying, in the zombie apocalypse, I'd be like, look, here's the deal. Sophia, you're talking about you're having some, trouble finding a guy because it's a zombie apocalypse. Lydia, you probably would have the same problem if we weren't together. Let's the three of us be a couple. You know what I'm saying?
Polyamorous relationship.
There you go.
It's a new world. I mean, and people are experimenting with it now more so than ever.
I feel really wrong because technically we forget that they're children.
They are teenagers.
This conversation is now just lost all of its momentum with my realization of that because they are still kids.
They're teenagers. I mean, we were that age, we were I mean, I won't getting it, but I sure was trying to get it, wishing I would get it, hoping I would get it. So look, they're not like 10-year-olds, holding hands and kissing cheeks. They're teenagers with working parts.
I mean, this isn't a Stephen King novel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I want to have sex with either one of these young girls. I'm just saying, in Carl's position, man, he's
right.
In
yeah,
a good place.
If you were 16 and you were Carl Grimes, that's probably what you would recommend.
Exactly. No. JP has never been an advocate for lusting after young underage girls. I think those people, men who do that, should be flayed and quartered and whatever. But Carl's a young man. More power to him.
I love your way of looking at that. And I am so sorry that I got a mouthful of food. If you understood how busy my morning was, we have another video we're editing where we play the Telltale's Michonne. A lot of our subscribers have been requesting that we play that. Also, we got 2 podcasts. I had 2 interviews on my FM radio morning show this morning, so I am sorry. It's not polite.
It's
just
crazy.
want to apologize in advance.
We just rushed all the strippers and midgets out of here. It's been a wild morning.
It has, but you know what? It's been a good morning.
It's been a good morning, yeah. Yeah, it has. But, man, all kinds of stuff going on in this issue. We've got a different kind of Michonne on our hands. That much
I was very shocked at her comment about that. Could you imagine surviving the apocalypse to become a waitress? I get it.
Yeah.
But damn, Michonne.
I mean, it's like where I work, after when I'm not at the radio station, I'm in the retail game, and sometimes you hear people make comments like that, like, you see Jessie over there 4 years at Virginia Tech, and she's back just being a cashier. You know what? I mean, who are you to say such a thing? And Michonne,
I try to never. I kid you not. I'm not trying to be high and mighty. I mean, right. Yeah, I'm not. I'm just like Michonne. I've said things I regret, but I try to have the mindset that, you know what? If somebody's working, I'm not going to make fun of their, I'm not going to think, I mean, if they're a cashier, if they're a table cleaner, guess what? They're working hard for their money. So yeah, it's not my place to judge anybody.
Plenty of people just, milking the system, living for free.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of people living off their parents or just refusing to get out to the. So, no, I try to never say anything like over there flipping burger. I mean, it's like, no, man. I mean, even people flipping burgers are working. They're coming in and working a job and getting paid for it. So,
which, don't get me wrong, I think everyone does owe it to themselves to try to fulfill their full potential.
Oh, without a doubt.
Which is an argument I have with myself all the time.
But you got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere.
And you got to pay the bills.
And as you said, I mean, it's better to be doing something than to be doing nothing.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, Michonne's I think she's starting to realize that her environment's really having an effect on her.
Right.
Know?
She went from, I mean, this is the girl that was walking around with 2 zombies on chains.
Mm-hmm.
And, it just was, I mean, Michonne is a savage fighter. You know what I mean? Like, she really can be. And it's like now all of a sudden she's, kind of making fun of someone for being a waitress.
Yeah, and it really makes you think, because pretty soon there's going to be a decision for her to make,
Rick
She's gonna
or the
stand
Commonwealth.
with the governor and the Commonwealth, the status quo, or is she going to be on the side of revolution? Because, I mean, the winds of change are blowing. That much is for sure. And, man,
we know she will eventually go with Rick.
I mean,
Michonne's highly intelligent and very... What's the word I'm looking for? Intuitive? Would that be the right?
But at the same time, sometimes you start realizing what side your bread's buttered on. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
But man, it was a nice little lunch, and did that get you in the feels? I'm showing
Rick,
you that big
Rick
old
tearing up. Yeah, it did.
Panel. Andrea just. Can you imagine? I mean, just a few years ago, I mean, they would have been on the road, I mean, eating like pond water.
Dog.
Yeah, eating dog.
You drink pond water.
You drink pond, yeah. Well, maybe it was wintertime and they've got a nice like pond water.
Are you saying that during the winter to eat that Rick and company cut a chunk out of a pond and ate it?
I mean, look, man, there's some like plankton in there.
You and I need to, after this podcast, you and I are going to sit down and talk about survival, because I want to see you survive in the zombie apocalypse. And right now, things ain't looking good for you, homie.
Maybe the water cycle as well. I may be a little confused as to the the nature of H2O, but nonetheless. Oh boy.
But yeah, it is crazy to think. I mean, from his position. And again, I'm sorry I'm eating. I know it's rude. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I have to eat. I'm going out of town tomorrow. I got a million things to do today. And to get this podcast out now is the only time we have to do it. JP's got to roll out of here at a certain time. So,
man, the only reason I put down my red velvet muffin is because I can't have sticky fingers peeling through this comic book.
Absolutely.
I love having it here as we podcast. That's one thing with the show. We can't exactly be pulling up clips as we podcast with the comic book.
It's right there.
It's right here.
Make sure you cover everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is an emotional time for Rick, because this is ultimately what he would have wanted with Andrea. He was crazy about Andrea, and I loved Andrea. Man, I loved comic Andrea so much compared to show Andrea. Like, comic Andrea was already awesome, but show Andrea sucked so bad that it made me love comic Andrea.
We have a little different
we do
on
not
TV show Andrea, but nonetheless,
we do not. If you search your soul, you know you did not think Andrea was a good character on the show. There's been good ones, but not her.
Season 3, maybe we can agree somewhat, but season 2, man, I was all about
season
her.
2. She sucked too. She sucked it.
Yeah, she sucked in the car with Shane. Right after her and Shane had killed some zombies in her little residential neighborhood. She did some sucking then. But,
no, I mean, no, I didn't like Andrea at all. If you did, I'm talking to the listener. Good for you. That's fine. Oh man, I did not like her. She got on every nerve I had. I actually, believe it or not, unpopular opinion. I stand by it. Fight me. I disliked Andrea way more than I disliked Lori.
Oh,
Lori had her moments, yeah. I mean, no doubt, but I feel like I'm going to get slaughtered in the comments now. But hey, bring it, man. I
didn't like Lori from start to finish, and the fact that Shane was that messed up over Lori when he had Andrea on deck, man.
JP wouldn't have had no problem with it. It'd been like, Lori, who? Rick, we ain't gonna fight, man. You have your Lori.
Yeah, I got sweet Andrea here. We're killing zombies.
I like the actress now. Lori Holden seems like a wonderful person. I watched where she did this undercover sting operation to get like stop child traffickers and stuff, like in real life.
Predator kind of thing?
Yeah. Well, not like sitting in the house, like the show Catch a Predator, but like child, like actual child trafficking and stuff.
Oh, geez.
Like, she seems like a wonderful person, and I've seen her in other roles that I liked her as the cop in Silent Hill. I just did not like Andrea. So some people have trouble separating the two. When you go, I didn't like a character, they go, but she's such a good actress. I'm not talking about her. don't like the character.
Yeah, that could be a whole nother pod. When you start talking about the Ninth Circle and this human sex trafficking, man, don't get me started on that, man. But anyway, 185, everybody's getting a little butt, it seems. Even old Eugene, he's messing with the locomotive.
Yeah.
His honeyboo that he was talking to on the radio.
Choo.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It looks like they're going to have some locomotion.
And good for Eugene, you know what I mean? Since Rosita's head was on that spike, I don't think we've seen Eugene with a love interest, right?
No.
I mean, even with Rosita, we find out that her baby was not probably Eugene's, and she was cheating on Eugene, right? Wasn't she cheating on him with Sadiq?
Yeah, I was going to say, that wasn't even really a relationship. That was a relationship of pity.
That was like a one-sided relation, one-way street. So good for Eugene for not only having himself but it seems like he's finding someone who's actually just interested in him for who he is, for how intelligent he is, for all of that. So good job,
nice,
Eugene.
Man. It's nice to connect with someone in a legitimate connection,
Especially in the apocalypse. What are the odds?
It's sometimes, the most beautiful flowers bloom among the rocks.
You're so poetic.
If that really applies here at all, but nonetheless.
Did you smoke before you came here?
I smoke. I smoked some salmon.
Oh,
I'm
just so poetic, man.
I'm big on my morning protein. You see what I mean? Yeah.
I'm kidding, people. Don't do drugs.
Of course, we're kidding. We're kidding.
But moving along, what you got?
Yeah, well, we got the governor. She's trying to piece everything back together.
I think she's starting to realize that she's losing her grip on this community.
Yeah, and I think
people don't like to be oppressed. Go figure.
And man, dude in the white suit, doesn't he kind of remind you of someone from one of your other favorite comics?
Preacher,
yeah.
Harris, her star,
that's what I was thinking when I first saw him.
Yep, that's my first thought. All we need to do is have somebody give him. Did you get to that point in the comics where they cut a gash across the top of his head so it looked like he had a penis for a head?
I don't know that I did.
I loved Preacher.
It doesn't surprise me.
It's so good.
It was some kinks.
But yep, I thought of that too. Kudos for because I know you did. You got like the first couple.
Yeah, I need to pick back up on that.
You do, man. I'm telling you, very rewarding read.
But man, the little sit down with Rick and the governor, man, that was, she's kind of showing her human side, assuming she's not just blowing smoke, and she really did lose her daughter, in the apocalypse.
I instantly, if I was Rick, would find it. I'd be like, you know what, that's not cool. I think I'm out. When she was like, I heard you got emotional this morning. I mean, what do we got? Big Brother back? Like,
yeah, no kidding.
I can't cry without it getting around to the leader of the freaking community.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you, man.
She's definitely having them followed. That's
without a doubt.
That's for sure. And we'll see. There's stuff like that. He might be coming around to Dwight's side before too long.
Well, at the end of this episode, we definitely see that he might. Maybe not Dwight's method per se, but.
Yeah, I mean,
it's The Walking Dead, though. Things never work out the easiest way. So we know there's going to be some kind of war. But the thing is, it doesn't seem like there's anybody who would even fight for Pamela.
Yeah, and I definitely think Rick wants to reform things within the system.
Right.
I don't think he wants to overthrow Pamela. I think he would like
to let her keep leading. He just would like to sit down with her and be like, okay, so this is how you treat people. The class system you've got going, it's never going to work. This is what... Blah, blah, blah. Here's how we do it in Alexandria, yada, yada, yada. You're right. I think that's the way he would rather do it, is to sit down with her and go over ways to improve the community, not, stab her in the back and be like, this is my throne now.
And the thing is, I mean, Rick's method does work and it seems way better, but he's working on a much, much smaller scale. I mean, Pamela's got a lot of people under her. So it does make you wonder. I mean, would things be all peaches and cream like they are, Hilltop, Alexandria?
Well, there's got to be a better way, though.
What, like 50,000? Yeah, I mean, I'm not.
There's got to be some middle ground there. I mean, I get not everybody can be, not everybody gets to be, the most important person there, but there's got to be some way rather than. I mean, it's just the way that, and it also too, it's got a lot to do with how they treat people too. I mean, the way they talk to people is almost kind of like Negan talking to people who work for points. You know what I mean? And it's so. But the thing is, though, here's the problem. Do you think that Pamela's going to give in without a fight? Like even not so much her seat, but even just opinion.
I mean, I definitely think she's happy with the way things are going, and she wants to maintain
Of course, because
that.
she's sitting pretty. That's how the elites always love it.
Man, I'm just saying, I'm ready for Rick to get that butt. I know I've said it before, and I'll say
You think
it
Rick
again.
and Pamela are going to hook up?
I think they need to. I think there needs to be some good old hate fucking going on there.
You don't think there's a possibility they might try to mirror the show and have him and Michonne get together? I mean, I know they've never really shown any. Like in the comic, they are, and I thought it was that way in the show because that's why I said, like in the show, I like Michonne and Rick together. It surprised me. It caught me off guard because they've always presented them as friends. And I actually had one of our listeners was like, "Well, there were signs. You just must not have noticed them." Maybe not because it's like I just always thought of Michonne and Rick as like fellow soldiers. You know what I mean? Like brothers, metaphorically, like in arms.
Right.
But it worked out. It's great. I'm glad, whatever. But like the comic, I know they haven't really alluded to that much, but you don't think maybe they'll go that route too?
I'd be very surprised. That much I will tell you. I think that Rick and Pamela are going to be in a heated argument. Next thing you know, stuff's going to get knocked off the desk. Clothes are.
Do you really think that's going to happen, or is that just what you want to happen?
Well, I mean, it's already happening in my head. It's happening as we speak.
No,
and I'm not going to stand.
We've
up
talked
for
about these
for a little while. I mean, stay beneath the desk, but I think prosthetic.
We've talked about this, man. I mean, at least thank God no one's in the studio this time. But come on, man, progress.
Or maybe Rick's got some interesting attachments for his prosthetic.
Oh God!
I don't know.
I can just see him like. Wait 1 second. He comes in. She's like, "What the hell is that?" It's like kind of like Merle's little nub thing, but
a little French tickle action. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he was with Andrew and had that thing for a long time. I would think maybe they made some modifications. Maybe he had Eugene as kind of a sex toy version of Q. I don't know.
Do you think that Eugene made his?
Well, who else? Or I mean, Carl's a blacksmith, but you can't ask your son to make. Anyway.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. So. That man, that got really.
Well, you can't tell me you've never pondered this. I mean,
no, I can honestly say that I haven't. Man, I had a perfect 70s porn music bed that I was going to throw in under there, and I cannot find it.
We'll save it for post.
That would have been. No, I don't have time to put it in and post. What you hear is what you get. But man, I had a really cool one I was going to throw in there, but I can't find it.
Have that in your head, dear listeners.
All right, moving past your sexual expectations for Pamela and Rick, what else you got?
Well, it kind of ends. Well, it doesn't completely end, but Dwight making all kinds of ruckus, and he knows why the guards are out there, and even Pamela said, before Rick came in, I want guards out there to make everyone feel safe. But also make them know that don't cause no trouble.
It's
here.
Like, oh yeah, we know they're not there to make people feel safe. They're there to let people know you step out of line. This time there's way more of us, and we will jack you up.
Right, and it's really a testament because I didn't read the entire letter section. But
I read that. I'm very spotty with that. Sometimes I read it, sometimes I don't.
Yeah, and someone was asking, is the Commonwealth and the I can't remember the name of the lakeside community. But are they protected by walls the same way like Alexandria? But they were like, no, they don't really need walls. They've just cleared out so much and they have such an extensive military force. I mean, just being bombarded by that many walkers to threaten the entire community isn't something they really have to worry about. So.
And that's just such a step in the direction and normalcy.
Yeah, and that's another, just that lets you know how big of a fighting force she really has.
It makes you wonder. We know Mercer's like one of her top people in her military, and Mercer is not happy with her. So my question is, I wonder how much of her military would be willing to fight for her. Like if Mercer stepped up and was like, listen, fellow military men, whatever. I don't know if they call their people an army and what. So I'm just going to say my fellow soldiers, Pamela sucks.
Right.
So we're going to side with Rick. I wonder if there are any people there. I mean, the way that her and her son, Sebastian, the way they treat people, who's going to want to fight for them?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it seems like Sebastian can just force himself on any girl he wants and,
And Mercer's such like a badass, honorable dude. I feel like most of his fellow soldiers definitely trust him.
And I mean, like historically, regime change happens sometimes like that. I mean, Julius Caesar, wasn't that the case with him? He was like a general maybe and marched into Rome with all his boys and was like, hey, Senate, you're out, I'm in. And that may not be exactly how it happened, but I'm just saying.
It's been so long. I don't want to say you're right, but I don't want to say you're wrong.
I want to say Caesar and all his troops marched on Rome, and the Senate was just like, anyway.
What are you doing in our building? You mean my building?
Right. Anyway, I'm no historian. I like history, but I'm not. I don't have a very good memory.
But JP actually, don't sell yourself short. JP actually draws some really cool parallels to some historical events and like shows. You know what I mean? Like even parallels that I don't even think necessarily the writers meant to do, but how there are some very similarities there between like real events and something that happens on a show.
Well, the 5 minutes I spent in college, I was a history major. It's true.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. All
funnest 5 minutes of your life.
Yeah, no kidding. That's what the girl who took anyway. But yeah, man, like Dwight stirring up all kinds of trouble out on the street.
That was so slick, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he walks away kind of smiling, like mission accomplished.
I mean, he knew what was going on with all those troops on the street, and he knows just how to goad them, and then just gives himself up, like he doesn't want to get bludgeoned to death.
Well, he kind of makes himself a martyr, but not in the sense of like a martyr usually dies or anything. But I'm saying he made himself to the point where like he's a victim now, and these people are going to support him. Because, it's just like a psychological thing, like because they were like, leave him alone. Don't you hurt him now if he comes out. And he's like, people follow me. A lot will be like, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
we've connected. I stood up for you. We have a connection now.
Sometimes you just got to sit in jail for a little while. I mean, it worked for Nelson Mandela. So.
Yeah.
But Rick not exactly happy about it.
No, he was not.
He came in there and, laid down the law again with Dwight.
Says, what you're doing is dangerous.
Yeah.
Inciting riots and, I mean, I know that Dwight's trying really hard to, like, empower the people, but, I mean, you're talking about full-on riots. People kind of lose their mind during riots. People that are not the target of the aggression end up getting hurt in riots,
Yeah, and I mean, Rick does admit, it's messed up the way people are treated
I was so glad to hear him, straight up admit that, too. I mean, we knew that he and Pamela had different ideologies, but, once he got in the gate, well, not in the gates per se, but once he got into the Commonwealth, he's just been soaking it in and really enjoying it. So it's nice to hear that, yes, he's not, he does completely see how messed up some of these things are.
Yeah, he's not deluded as to what's going on, but he also sees what they've built there.
Do you think Michonne's getting deluded like that? Do you think, we know that obviously she's got a different kind of thinking now. I mean, you got to think, and you can't blame her. She's got a daughter.
Right.
There's civilization. They get to go to restaurants and be waited on, and she's living a nice lifestyle with food and nice apartment. And so do you think that she's kind of getting a little deluded?
I mean, I think she's getting comfortable. That much is for sure. I mean, I don't think she has any, I think she knows what time it is as far as the class system, but I mean.
That's the thing, though. I think she absolutely understands the class system. Do you think, that's how I should have asked, do you think that she doesn't mind it?
Yeah, I think
being
she's
that she's
super
sitting on top.
I mean, when you're on top, I mean.
Because Michonne is a very observant person. Like, she'll pick out the bullshit, before most people will. She just has this, sixth sense of knowing when someone's got bad intentions or what. So she's got to know what's happening.
Right. I mean,
at this point, I get it. She's motivated primarily, I believe, by her daughter. She wants to be with her daughter. She wants to, she's been away from her daughter for years. And for all she knew, her daughter was dead. Now she's found her. She's healthy. I get it. I totally get she's willing to overlook these things because it allows, she's with her daughter. But I wonder if she's going a step further than that. You know what I mean? And just starting to become part of the upper class, like actually a part of them.
And I mean, you notice there hasn't been one time when Michonne's even considered, well, maybe you should just come live with me in Alexandria, because she knows, every so often they get overrun, by an invading force or a horde of zombies. There's not the sense of security she has at the Commonwealth.
And they don't have restaurants and waitresses.
Don't have restaurants, yeah.
So, but I love the ending, man. I loved it when Mercer's like, Rick Grimes, you're the leader the Commonwealth needs.
Oh, yeah, man. It was some really good Rick Grimes stuff in here, especially with just when he's telling Dwight, things aren't black and white anymore. It's not the living versus the dead. It's not good, with the saviors or the governor or whoever, it was good guys versus bad guys. It's not like that now. it's complex. And, and Mercer, like you said, he's listening to every word.
He's like, oh, Mercer. Like Rick almost like, oh, crap. You know what I mean? Like, oh, damn it. And then Mercer's like, dude, I'm with you. Like, you're the leader we need.
And I think that Mercer understands that, generally someone who's not hungry for power, who doesn't want to sit in that seat of power, that's generally the person you want in charge,
Oh, yeah.
Because they're just going to do things because they need to be done, not because they want trying to swing their dick around,
And you want Mercer by your side, too, because people like him are a rarity. Someone who wants to see a change in leadership but does not want the throne for himself.
Exactly.
Like, he's not out to make himself a king and live large. He just wants him and his people to live a better life. He knows that this is wrong. You don't treat people like this. So Mercer's one of those, I'd be like, tell you what, you badass sumbitch. As long as you have my back, we'll make this happen. I'll lead this place. I just need you to start rallying your troops. But yeah, great issue, man. I hear people, we know a lot of people that read comics, and I've met more than a few that have said that they've just been falling off the Walking Dead comic.
Oh, dude,
I love it. Yeah, right. I mean, this is a great story arc. Some people have said it was boring, but it's like, dude, it's the bigger picture here. It's what's really coming up. I mean, we might be about to see Rick and his group just overtake the Commonwealth, and then, like Rick starting to become the leader of the world, or at least our country.
There's just such a great character progression, like just a little excerpt from the letters column, like somebody basically wrote like, please, please, please have someone, Pony Express or something, send Michonne her sword. But like Michonne's not Michonne without a sword to swing, and they're just like, the whole point of this story is that these characters evolve and change over time. This isn't a superhero series. We don't need to have Michonne running around cutting zombies up with her sword for 30 years. That would get repetitive and boring. I'm not saying she'll definitely never hold that sword again, but don't expect her to return to the old status quo completely ever.
And see, that's what I love about this comic.
Right?
Yeah, this is real writing and story, character progression and good plot. And you're so talented. I know you, the listener, couldn't see that, but JP went to pick up his bag and board to put the comic book back in, and it tried to get away, and he just did this crazy ninja move, and balanced it the whole. That was hats off to you, good sir.
I got moves every now and then.
Man, yeah, if you could do something with your legs while you were doing that, it'd be like a Goofy movie. You just created like a whole new dance. But great issue. I'm still, I know that we sound like Walking Dead fanboys because, well, we are. I love the show. I mean, it's definitely had its moments, but the new season I'm very happy with.
As am I.
Comics I'm still happy with.
Yeah, that's one thing, man. I've definitely had some critiques over the show over the years. It's definitely had its lulls, but the comic, man, I've never really had any.
Never not been satisfied with the comic. Even a slower one, it's building to something.
There has been some slower periods where they were building to something bigger, and like All Out War and stuff. It did take a long time.
Like the show, it was a bit drawn out.
Yeah, but with All Out War in the comic, they were pumping out 2 issues per month, so it didn't take like forever.
Right.
But by the time it was done, you were ready for it to be done.
You're like, okay, this has been cool, but let's move to the next arc.
Nah, man, the comic is just I got zero complaints. People can say what they want,
Oh yeah, you're welcome to your opinion. If you don't like it, you don't like it, and that's cool, man. I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong. Just for me, in my life, I love the Walking Dead comic. I give that like a. Do we rate these? It's.
I don't know, brother, but I give it as many fingers and toes as I've got.
Yeah, I give it like a 4.5 or 5. Great issue, leading to something great. Good setup, good character progression, good dialogue, just all around great issue.
Loving it.
Looking forward to next month, but not wishing my time away.
Yeah, and speaking of comic books, if you happen to be at North Carolina Comic Con in Durham Friday, you might just catch old JP there.
That's right.
My colleague here won't be able to join me.
I'm going to be in Surfside and Myrtle Beach in South Carolina.
Yeah, I wish we could say we're going to have a booth there, but eventually,
one day I would love to have a booth
at Comic Con. We're building maybe like by next summer we'll have like 5,000 subscribers or more. Who knows?
That would be absolutely, man.
And the two of us will give T-shirts, and I don't really know what else we'll do. I'll probably. Well, I'm not going to get drunk like I did at the Raleigh Comic Con. That's another story, but...
yeah, we won't let JP near the alcohol, not at least till the end of the night.
I'd never been to a Comic Con where they had booze, and I overdid it a little bit, but
you just were so excited, you just dove head first.
I was very excited, but anyway, Jeff Lemire is going to be at this
That's
Comic-Con.
what I'm excited. My good pal JP here has been so kind to. He's going to take my issue number 1, and then I've got a variant of issue number 2 because it's pretty much all white.
Right.
So I didn't know what color marker he'd be using. If he didn't have a silver or a white one, then I took this one. But JP is going to take my Gideon Falls number 1 and get it signed by Jeff Lemire. He's getting Black Hammer number 1 signed. I'm very jealous, but at the same time, very appreciative and excited to know that I'm going to have a Gideon Falls, which is probably my favorite thing out right now, aside from like The Walking Dead, autographed by the man who came up with it.
It's going to be a good time. Really good. I
thought about giving you Century number 1, honestly.
I've got that.
I thought about that, but then I was like, don't get me wrong. I love that 5-issue run of Century he just did. I thought that was great. Some dark stuff. That's why I love Jeff Lemire, is because he's so dark and just like it's not for his writing's not for kids.
No, absolutely.
But at the end of the day, I was like, no, Gideon Falls is like, I don't look forward to any comic aside from The Walking Dead. I put that in its own league. I don't look forward to any comic each month like I do Gideon Falls. So,
man, I'm hoping he's going to have some exclusive variants to sign.
Hook me up, like I said last time.
Yeah, because the last Comic-Con I was at, Tom King was there, and he had some exclusive version variants for a Batman 50.
Oh, yeah.
I got him to sign. It was.
You got a sick one, yeah. So, if you see something sweet, man, you just grab it. I'll pay you for it. You know that. So, you get it. And maybe we'll share some pictures if JP has some good finds at the Comic-Con.
Just do that. Maybe get some liners for the podcast or something.
There you go, yeah.
So.
But, so if you have made it this far, obviously you didn't hate us but so bad. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. We do a lot of Walking Dead content, primarily all Walking Dead content right now, but we definitely want to branch out, start doing movies. We want to start doing some just different stuff. But always, we will never leave The Walking Dead, but just do more than we're doing now. But hit that subscribe button for more content, and we will see you soon. We got a lot of stuff coming out here in the next day or two to make up for me being gone 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy week next week.
But we'll catch you soon. I'm Justin.
I'm Drippy.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.
Eating a muffin.